Welcome to Bedhampton Church. Contact us at www.bedhampton.church. But for now, let's continue that journey with this input. Paul, a servant of Christ Jesus, called to be an apostle and set apart for the gospel of God. Really doing well today, aren't I? That's how Paul begins the book of Romans that we began back in January. Book we've been investigating for that amount of time. And I said at the time it is 16 chapters of perhaps the most glorious truth you might ever get to read. And it takes about an hour to read. And at the time I encouraged you to read it if you hadn't already, or read it again anyway. And I would do the same today as we come to the end. I'd encourage you to reread it, having been around for the reflections that we've had. Back in chapter 1, Paul sets out his mission, which is to reach out to us. Paul was called to bring the good news of Jesus to those who were not Jewish. I'm assuming there aren't any Jewish people in the room today. We have had in the past, but there aren't today. The Gentiles, as the word says, that would be you and me. That would be pretty much everyone in Bedhampton. And as Paul introduces himself, he describes himself as a servant of Christ, using the Greek word doulos, which actually means slave. Paul, a slave of Messiah Jesus. There isn't anything more important to Paul than Jesus. There isn't anything more important to Paul than being a disciple, an apprentice of Jesus. Right out of the gate, right back there in January, it was a challenge to all of us straight away. Well, at least to me anyway, it was a challenge. I wonder how you felt about being a slave to Jesus. You know, I often say out loud that nothing is more important to me than Jesus. I love Susie, you know that. But Susie knows that there is nothing more important to me than Jesus. I love my children and our grandchildren. It's been a delight to become a grandparent. But they all know that there is nothing more important to me than Jesus. Except as I say that, even now, and as I wrote those words during the week, I do understand that I don't always live as though that is true. I don't know about you. More on that later, but just going back to where Paul has taken us through Romans, you remember that familiar picture from the book that we've used for this series of a mountain. As we climb the mountain, discovering who God is, and then come down the other side, discovering what our response to that is. Paul introduces the gospel and reminds us that we all sin. Not one of us is without that. But there is salvation in Jesus Christ. He speaks of the peace and the freedom that brings, the hope we have because of what Jesus has done. And how great, as he goes over the summit, how great that mystery is, but how actually our response is one of devotion to God. Not as a Lone Ranger Christian. There is no such thing as a Lone Ranger Christian, but as part of a community as we are here today, as one family under God. And then once again, as he comes towards the bottom, he returns to the idea of mission and reminds us that our response is about sharing God's love. Paul finishes as he started and says, basically, you now share this amazing love of God to others. He concludes in chapter 16 that I glory in Christ Jesus in my service to God. I will not venture to speak of anything except what Christ has accomplished in me, leading the Gentiles to obey God by what I have said and done. He says it's always been my ambition to preach the gospel where Christ was not known. For Paul, life begins and ends with Jesus. For Paul, his mission begins and ends with sharing the love of Jesus. I wonder where we are as a community here in Bedhampton, here at St Thomas and at St Nicholas. Where are we with that idea? What about you? Where are you with that idea of sharing the love of Jesus? Or are we simply happy with life as it is? Do we just turn up week in, week out, sing some nice songs, say some nice words, chat with some wonderful people, and you are wonderful people, drink a cup of tea and go home. Surely Christ died for more than just that. Surely Paul gave his life as a slave for more than just that. Surely, guys, we are more than just a nice social club. Surely we're called to share God's love with those in Bedhampton who do not yet know him. And yet already I can hear the rehearsed objections to a slightly over-enthusiastic rector. Oh, but Max, you don't understand. I'm too old, I'm too young, too busy, too shy, too unsure of what to say, too English. Politics and religion are not to be discussed in polite company. It's okay for people to know that I come to church, but to say that I'm an apprentice to Jesus, a slave to Christ, well, that's just a little bit too private. But let me be clear. Being English is no excuse. And private religion is an oxymoron. They should not be in the same sentence together. There is no private faith in the Bible. Quite the opposite. Faith in Jesus is a very public thing. People died so that they could declare that he is God. But not just in the Bible, but actually down throughout the centuries, people have died so their faith would not be private, so that they would not deny Jesus. Maybe I should pause for a moment, partly to let that sink in, but also to share something quite personal with you this morning about how I've been feeling this week. If I can be really honest with you for a moment, I've had a bit of a week of it returning from holiday. In truth, Susie will tell you, I've been a bit melancholy. It's possible, even in all that is going on right now, even in all that God is doing in Bedhampton, and he is doing a great deal, it's possible, even in all of that, to be distracted by the stuff of life and to be discontent. And that is where I've been this week. As I sat down to write this sermon for the third time, I stared at a blank screen, and I want to say I lifted a prayer, but I almost shouted out, Father God, I have nothing left in me this week. This has to be you. After a while, God did speak to my heart and highlighted my discontentment. Because as a leader in the Church of Christ, discontentment is my burden to carry. I see what Christ has for you, and I hunger for you to see all of it, the whole of it, not just a snippet, not just a taste, but actually to be bathed in God's Spirit, not just on a Sunday, but throughout the whole of your life. I see what Christ has for Bedhampton and what opportunity there is here, and I see what he's doing, but I hunger for more. I want to see God's kingdom come to Bedhampton. These aren't just ideas that Max has. I really long for God's kingdom to come to Bedhampton. But most of all, the discontentment in me is when I look at people and I know that Jesus has more for them. I want others to know Jesus so much. I want you to know fully who Jesus is for you so much that it literally hurts me sometimes. And despite all that I see God doing, I want more. My burden to carry, my thorn in the side, is discontentment, because Jesus is just too good for only on a Sunday. Well, Paul puts it like this. He says, it's always been my ambition to preach the gospel where Christ was not known. And in truth, I do see that in some of you. I see that hunger in some of you. But if I'm really honest with you, I also see some fear. I see doubt in trust in God that he could possibly use you where you are. And it saddens me. How could God use me, you might wonder? I'm not confident. I don't know what to say. Or as Joe shared in our midweek sermon this week, I'm just a little minnow, is what she said, which hit home for so many of us. I want to explain to you how God can use you through a story. On this sermon series we've been watching, there have been little videos each week of testimonies of people, and we haven't used them for our sermons, but as I sat down with that empty screen, God nudged me about looking at this week's one. So let's take a look at Ed's story in a second, and I will come back and wrap up.
I'm a doctor. In truth, I never had that much interest in medicine. I had the grades, and Mum and Dad really encouraged me to go for it. I think my parents wanted me to have a good living so I could have a nice middle-class life and be able to buy nice things and have nice holidays and be secure and comfortable. I didn't want that. No, I've never wanted that. When I was growing up, our parents would read to us missionary stories. Men and women would sacrifice everything, give up all their wealth, get on a boat, travel for 6 months, travel across the seas to share the gospel. Entire communities and peoples and nations were transformed as a result. And growing up, I just thought, I want to be like those people. Those people, they haven't just found something worth dying for, they seem to have discovered the secret of living as well. Real, incredible, purposeful lives. When I was 18 years old, and my gran said to me, there's this Indian missionary guy speaking at our church tonight. Do you want to come along? There he was, telling all these stories of what the missionaries in India were getting up to, how they were risking their lives, traveling, facing adversity, but winning people, changing communities. And I said, hey, this sounds like the stories I had read to me growing up. I thought people like these didn't exist anymore. I thought they were locked away 100 years ago. 6 months later, I got on a plane and I traveled to India. I met with Das and we traveled around the mission fields. These people had come to know Jesus, but their whole community and social situation had been transformed as well. 5 years previously, the gospel had never come to this place. And there I was, worshipping with the church there. That place has never had the gospel come to it. And now there's a church there. That's history in the making. So I said to myself, right, scrap all what my plans were because they're rubbish. I want to be a part of what's going on here. And I said, look, Das, this is amazing. How can I help? So Das said, well, the tragic thing is that a lot of these people aren't getting into action because their own churches are too poor to send them. So I said, yeah, Das, how much do these guys need? He said, well, in your terms, about £50 a month. The thought that someone isn't being sent to an unreached village to plant a church for that much money, that's madness. That's crazy. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. At that point in time, I just said, right, let's try and ramp up this level of sacrificial living because every £10 I can save is a fifth of a missionary's monthly support in India. That's amazing. We don't think anyone should be without access to the gospel, and to have access to the gospel, they need to have access to the church. So that's our vision. People encountering Jesus, having their life transformed forever and living forever with him. A church in every village in India. They say medicine is an amazing thing because you have the chance to save lives. But the truth is, doctors don't save any lives. All we're doing on our best days is postponing the inevitable, is putting death off. But the gospel really can save lives. So the same reason that people think medicine's amazing, they should be even more excited about the gospel, because that can save someone's life forever and ever and ever.
Amazing, and if you want to hear more about India, I think I just realised, of course, you'd be the person to talk about India too, wouldn't you? So talk to our friends down here if you want to hear more about India. But actually, don't get hung up about the fact that he was called to support India, because he came back, didn't he? He came back here and supported India from here. But actually, the thing that struck me about Ed there was actually he's a doctor doing amazing things already, and he said, it's rubbish compared to this. No. And actually, he talked about the village is in India. Of course, we're called to also look here at what we jokingly call our village in Bedhampton. But did you see what happened to Ed? Did you see the impact of the gospel that his parents had on him as they taught him the faith? Did you see the impact that his nan, his grandmother, had on him as she took him to a service? God took Ed as he was, where he was, with all the skills and gifts that God had given him and all these hang-ups that he had, and he used Ed to share Jesus' love with others. Because Ed thought that the idea of money being an issue for someone to not go and plant a church in an unreached village is madness, is crazy, is the saddest thing he ever heard. So he came back in his normal, everyday, humdrum life, week in, week out life, and made a difference using his personality, using his gifts that God had given him. He chose to be a slave to Christ. What about you? What about your part in the mission of God here in Bedhampton? With your stage of life, with your gifts, your resources, with all your hang-ups as well, just as much as my hang-ups. If Jesus was you, with your personality, what would he do? We used to say that, wouldn't we? We would say, what would Jesus do? But actually, that's not a great question. What would Jesus do with your personality and your gifts is a better question. What would he do here? Because the idea of someone in Bedhampton not hearing about the love of Jesus because we haven't got up and done that is madness, is crazy, is the saddest thing I've ever heard. What is your part in the mission of God here in Bedhampton? What is he calling you to? And as we finish this book of Romans, we will begin a new series starting next week called Shape. I will warn you, this book changed the direction of my life. So it's an old book coming back from the 90s, I think. Is it, Susie, 90s or 80s? Something like that. We begin this series next week, and we're looking at this shape, the shape that God has made you, the gifts that God has given you, what you have, what your response is. So we'll be looking out for that over the next few weeks. But you don't need to wait for that to respond to God today. If God is nudging you, His Spirit is nudging you, you don't need to wait for that. In John's Gospel, he says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear fruit. He's telling that to the disciples as he prepares them to go. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. This is to God's glory, my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. Jesus wants to see the fruit. We've been seeing fruit. Jesus wants to see more fruit here in Bedhampton. As the Father has loved me, so I love you. Now remain in my love. And of course he continues, my command is this, to love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. We're to lay down our life, my friends, to be slaves to Christ. That's not very English, but it is very Jesus. I don't know what's holding you back. I don't know what's holding us back. But if we can love Bedhampton, we have everything we need to reach out to even more people for God, to serve them, to love them, for them to discover Jesus in us. We can be a slave to Christ. Because if you're ready to play your part, whatever that may be, God has everything you need. And if you don't know what your part is, but you feel that nudge, well, we're going to find out over the next few weeks what that might be. Because I promise you, together, we will find out what God is doing if we can have this holy discontentment in us for more. Because he's not restricted, and he will use everything you have to give to him to share his love. You have been listening to Bedhampton Church. Our prayer is that this helps you journey with Jesus and serve your community by sharing God's love and friendship. Subscribe and join us for more discussion at www.bedhampton.church. All material Creative Commons copyright. Contact us for more details.